From the very beginning, NBA Youngboy's life has been a roller coaster of violence, legal troubles, and unexpected triumphs. Known for his raw lyrics and unfiltered persona, Youngboy's story is more than just about music. It's a story of survival, ambition, and the battle to escape his past while constantly being pulled back into it. But in the world of hip-hop, sometimes the line between fame and infamy is razor thin, and for Youngboy, that line has been crossed more times than anyone can count. From robbery charges to multiple run-ins with the law, NBA Youngboy's legal history is as wild and unpredictable as his rise to stardom. This isn't just a story of a rapper, this is a story of a young man trying to survive in a world full of pitfalls. So sit tight because we're about to take a deep dive into NBA Youngboy's legal battles and see how they've shaped both his career and his life. NBA Youngboy was born Kentrell Deshaun Golden on October 20th, 1999 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Raised in a low-income neighborhood, Youngboy's upbringing was anything but ordinary. His father, a man who would later be incarcerated for a lengthy sentence, wasn't present in his life, and his mother had her own struggles. At just a young age, Youngboy was left to navigate the harsh realities of street life in Baton Rouge. His father, who was sentenced to 55 years for armed robbery, would remain a distant figure in his life. This absence left a hole, one that would influence Youngboy's actions in the years to come. His mother eventually moved out of the dangerous part of town, but Youngboy stayed behind, living with his grandmother. But when she passed away, things took a darker turn. Without a stable home or a clear direction, Youngboy moved in with his friend 3-3 and his mom Monique, who took him in despite knowing his potential for trouble. It was around this time that Youngboy's life would take a dramatic shift. Desperate for money to fund his dreams of becoming a rapper, Youngboy and his crew resorted to stealing car batteries from 18-wheelers to sell them for cash. Their days of petty crime were just the beginning. Youngboy's first taste of the law came when he was just 15 years old. After being charged with robbery, he was sent to a juvenile detention center for 6 months. He was already in trouble, but that stint behind bars set the stage for everything that followed. The streets were never far from him, and while there were people who cared, like Carrie Garcia, who was a counselor to him and later became his godmother, Youngboy couldn't outrun his environment. Even Garcia's influence couldn't stop him from falling deeper into a world of violence and crime. Despite his time in detention, Youngboy wasn't finished with trouble. He had learned the ways of the streets, and music became his outlet to express the pain and hardship that defined his life. But his brushes with the law were far from over. While locked up, Youngboy started writing his first rap songs. His passion for music began to grow, and once he was released, he wasted no time in diving into the industry. In 2016, he released his first major mixtape, Life Before Fame, which quickly gained traction and established him as a rising star in Baton Rouge's hip-hop scene. But it wasn't just his music that was making headlines, it was his involvement with the Top Boy Gorillas, TBG, a local street crew with ties to his neighborhood. Youngboy's rise to fame coincided with a violent street war between TBG and the Bottom Boy Gorillas, BBG, a rival group. His cousin Boozilla was deeply involved in the BBG, and the beef between the two factions quickly escalated. The violence that followed was almost inevitable. In September 2017, tragedy struck when Youngboy's cousin Boozilla was killed in a shooting. Hours later, Youngboy and his crew were involved in a retaliation shooting. The police investigation into the shootout revealed that Youngboy and his crew were responsible for the gunfire that followed the murder. The situation got even more intense when Youngboy and his team returned fire at BBG members, leading to a high-speed chase and a dramatic altercation with the police. As a result of this, Youngboy faced 2 charges of attempted murder. It seemed like his career was at risk before it even began, but things took a surprising turn. Youngboy's legal team managed to negotiate a plea deal. Instead of facing a long prison sentence, Youngboy pleaded guilty to aggravated assault with a firearm, which led to just a few months in prison. Despite the severity of the charges, Youngboy was able to move forward with his music career, continuing to drop hit songs and albums. After getting out of prison, it seemed like Youngboy was on the path to redemption, but the streets still had a tight grip on him. In 2018, things took another dark turn when a disturbing incident involving his girlfriend Chania made headlines. While they were on tour, a domestic dispute turned into a police matter. Hotel staff reported blood in the room after an altercation between the two. Surveillance footage even showed Youngboy physically confronting Jania. Despite the evidence, Jania refused to press charges, and Youngboy was spared from the most severe consequences. However, the damage had been done. Once again, he found himself in the spotlight for the wrong reasons, and his legal troubles seemed never-ending. He pleaded guilty to misdemeanor battery, receiving 12 months of probation, along with mandatory anger management classes, but the peace wouldn't last long. In 2019, NBA Youngboy found himself entangled in a new controversy. While performing at a show in South Carolina, a fan allegedly tried to snatch Youngboy's chain. What started as an altercation backstage quickly escalated into a full-blown confrontation, which led to a lawsuit filed by Youngboy's bodyguard. The bodyguard claimed that both Youngboy and his associate, Quando Rondo, attacked him, leaving him with a cracked tooth and severe facial injuries. The lawsuit, which was settled out of court, added to Youngboy's growing list of legal issues, but as his career reached new heights, so did the violence surrounding him. The conflict between TBG and BBG raged on, and the body count kept rising. By 2020, the tension between Youngboy's crew and their rivals reached a boiling point. G-Money, one of the leading figures of the TBG, was tragically murdered, further intensifying the violence. This murder became one of the most defining moments in the war between the factions, with Youngboy's involvement being heavily scrutinized. Soon after, Lil Pop, one of Youngboy's closest associates, was accused of being involved in the killing. The allegations only added to the animosity between the groups. In retaliation, Youngboy's crew went after BBG, and the bloodshed continued. As the violence escalated, Youngboy's legal problems multiplied. In 2020, he was arrested during a raid while shooting a music video in Baton Rouge. The police found an arsenal of guns, drugs, and a large sum of money. This led to multiple arrests, with Youngboy among those detained. For the first time, Youngboy was facing federal gun charges. The case was serious, and with each passing day, it seemed like his career was at risk. But even as the case was moving through the courts, Youngboy wasn't done making headlines. In 2021, while on house arrest, he violated the terms of his release by associating with people who were under investigation for violent crimes. It seemed like every time he took a step forward, the legal system pushed him 2 steps back. By the time 2021 rolled around, Youngboy was on house arrest in Utah, following a lengthy battle with the law. The feds were after him for his involvement in a prescription fraud ring, which allegedly allowed him to obtain lean through fake prescriptions. This set of charges added yet another layer to his already stacked criminal record. Despite this, Youngboy remained defiant, continuing to release music and build his fanbase. Despite the legal challenges, his legal team managed to work out a deal. In late 2021, Youngboy's probation was extended and he was allowed to stay on house arrest under strict conditions. While he wasn't allowed to leave the state of Utah, he was still able to maintain a somewhat normal life and keep working on his music. But in 2022, more legal drama unfolded. The case from his 2019 arrest in Los Angeles was thrown out, but that didn't mean Youngboy was off the hook. In 2024, the authorities found even more evidence against him after a massive raid at his home. This time they discovered illegal firearms, drugs, and a large sum of cash. The raid led to another set of charges, including illegal possession of firearms and drug trafficking. Once again, Youngboy found himself back in Baton Rouge awaiting trial. As of January 2025, NBA Youngboy is facing over 60 charges, including drug possession, firearms violations, and federal conspiracy. But his legal team is hopeful that he will be able to get his sentence reduced, possibly serving only a fraction of the time he's been sentenced to. Though Youngboy has faced monumental legal challenges, his music career continues to thrive. With his official release scheduled for July 27, 2025, his fans are waiting with bated breath for his return. Will he use his time in prison to reflect and turn his life around? Or will he come back to the streets ready to pick up where he left off? One thing is for certain, NBA Youngboy's legal saga is far from over, and his fans are hoping for the best. But regardless of where his path leads, NBA Youngboy has already made an indelible mark on the rap game, and the world will be watching as his journey continues.